Who doesn't want to try 7 Rye IPAs? Stay tuned. Let's compare all 7. Welcome back, everybody. So I've done the second reviews of all of them, the first review of number 7. So let's compare all 7 of these, do a side-by-side, and see what we get. So I'm going to move the bottles out. I did do all these in one day. Beer 1 was first. These are all... Most of them are double rye IPAs. There's a couple that are single, but let's see what the different malts and different hops do to a batch of rye IPA. So again, I'm going to move the bottles out. In beer number 7, I did put out the reviews, so if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. After this, I would go back and watch all those. I will kind of reference some of that, but for the full review, I would go check those out. I'm just moving these so I can see pretty much what date they were done on and the ABV. Now, number 7, if you watch that video, they've been out for an hour and 20 minutes now. So they're going to be a little bit warmer, but if anything, that's going to lead to the spice, I believe. But we're going to find out. So, beer number 1, I do have my cheat sheet. I do use Beersmith to keep track of all these, so I'm going to reference these more than anything. Batch 1, obviously that is going to be my control batch. These are all small batches, 1.25 gallons going into the carboy. I do have a brew day video out on those, but I'm sure you can tell by the color in here that the recipe, the grain bill has changed. So have the hops, but mostly the grain bill. So let's go ahead and go over what is in these. Now, I'm going to say just the amount of grain. So if you want to know the exact grain bill, the exact hop bill, then go watch the standard reviews or the individual reviews, because I don't want to spend 10 hours going over each grain bill when it's pretty much the same. So up front, the base grain is going to be 2 pounds 1 ounce of either 2-row, white wheat, or Vienna malt. Then 5.5 ounces of either caramalt or white wheat. Then all of them have 5.5 ounces of rye malt and 3.7 ounces of flaked rye. So it's just those first 2. But again, go back to the solo, individual, single reviews to see the full grain bill, or visit 31stbrewing.com. You can go down to IPAs or rye IPAs, and I'll have the actual full grain bill, brewing bill there. So beer number 1 is our standard. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I don't remember where I was. I'm pretty sure I talked about the malts, so I'm going to go on to the hops. So beer 1 is 0.28 ounces of Centennial at 60, 0.28 ounces of Centennial Chinook at 5. Then dry hop is 0.24 ounces of Centennial, 0.12 ounces of Chinook, and Amarillo. Now, for that hop schedule, all that hop schedule, beer 1, beer 6, and beer 7 are the same. So it's only going to be these middle 4 that are different. I'm not going to go over that unless I need to look at those notes again. Go back, watch those videos. So just looking at this, the highest ABV is Let me check 7, because I can't read that because the condensation messed that up. 8.44. So beer number 5 is the highest at 8.8. Now, if we look at the heads again, this has been over an hour and 20 minutes. It's now 5:02. I was on the phone almost 20 minutes. The head, looking at this, is between these two. So 2 and 4, where 2 has held the most. I can't see any of the beer over the top, where beer 4 in the front, it does have a little pockets of seeing the beer. So for that, I would say beer 2. And that is using pretty much everything exactly the same, except for the dry hop, which is Sriracha Ace. So in that, it's using the same carbonation tablets. They're all the same bottles, all the same caps. The carbonation tablets came out of the same package. I don't know why that is the only one with, a good head. I'm still trying to find out what is going for the head or what's helping the head. It's using Sriracha Ace. Is that what helps with head retention? I don't know. So for that, I would go with beer number 2. For the color, because I did all the reviews, I would have to go with beer 7. Beer 6 is close, but beer 7 is very, very clear. Now, that is using 2 pounds, 1 ounce of the Vienna malt. So, in theory, if you wanted a clear IPA, use Vienna malt. Could be, at least from this test, that's what it's telling me. Beer 1 is close. I would say beer 1 is the closest to that. But it still has some haze to it, where 7 doesn't. And even, let's see. Yeah, beer 6 is the third closest. So for clarity, at least in this test, the Vienna malt is going to be the clearest. And that beer is under 3 months old? Is it 2 months old? 6.6, so a month old. A little over a month old. So that's that. Okay, smell. Let's go ahead and smell. That rye toasted malt, toasted bread is really coming out, and that one is the oldest that's been in the glass, time-wise. I think beer 3, because of the color, this starts the wheat. Let me make sure. Yes, that starts the wheat, and you can pick up that wheat. So if you're more of a malty fan, I would say you're going to want to stick with the 2-row. But if you like that wheat smell, maybe replacing that caramel with wheat is what you should do. I mean, so beer 1 is using 5.5 ounces of the caramel. Beer 2 is using 4.2 ounces of the caramel. So you can kind of see a color difference in those two. Then it really changes here for the color, and at least these two are using all wheat. 5 is also using the white wheat. So technically, these two should be the same color. So my guess is it's the oils and the hops that are making a different color. 4 and 5, right? Yeah. 4 and 5, the ABV. So 4 is 8.64 and 5 is the 8.8. So there's a color difference. It looks like beer 5 is using the caramel, but it's not. So I would say in that case, it's the hop oils that are adding to the color. Maybe it boiled a little bit longer and there's a little less, so that's the color. That could be too. But yeah. So let's keep smelling. I almost want to say this has a light roasted coffee smell. I think it's the toasted bread. It's more of a toastier bread than anything that's coming out of that. Yeah, six. I'll tell you right now, just in case you haven't watched them. Six is pretty much out. I don't know what happened to that. It's drinkable, but it's a wheat and like tart lemon, sour lemon citrus that's coming from that. Ooh, okay. For the smell, I have to go with beer four. And beer four, let's see what that used. And that's funny because I think in most of these I've gone with the Sriracha Ace because of that dill. But this almost comes off as a coffee, like a light roasted coffee. I know I shouldn't say that's what it smells like, but I know it's the toasted malt is what it's coming off. So that's using the Motueka hops in there. I know I didn't get that coffee, light roasted coffee, light malt smell before, but that thing smells good. Let's go ahead and taste. Very bitter. It's still very bitter. Big bitter spice. You get a little bit of that toasted malt, a little citrus up front, but that spice bitterness really takes over. Smoother. Beer 2 is definitely smoother than beer 1. It almost tastes like beer 2. The hops were done at First Wort Hopping in there. And that is using the Sriracha Ace, and I don't get any dill. Okay, now I do. Let's taste beer 3. Beer 3 is a Citra. It does taste a little fruitier after having that Sriracha Ace. Um, I feel if you wanted a lighter beer, as in lighter hops, lighter malt, and that you would go with beer number 3 over beer number 2. But if you wanted a more in your face taste, beer number 2 is the one for you. That's good. That I I don't know why it's like a light roasted coffee. That lightly roasted malt really stands out. It's smooth. It's got like a little citrus, a little spice, a little bitterness, and then it's gone. This one blows all these out of the water. More candied. Beer 5 is candied. Is that, what is that? That's the Mosaic. And I think I said that one on the Mosaic. It's more, I don't want to say it's more to the cotton candy, but it's more candied, juicy fruit than anything. You get some of that bitterness in back, just a little, but it's, yeah, cotton candy. Candied fruit juice is what I get out of that. Still not as good as beer number 4, though. I'm skipping 6. For smoothness, beer number 7 wins. Hands down, best body, well balanced. That one wins. But I think overall, and I don't know why. Beer number 4. I know it's not coffee. It's more of a roasted malt, but for whatever reason, my brain keeps on thinking it's like a good light roasted coffee, and it plays well with a little bit of spice in there. But that's like it. Like there's that light roasted malt, then that spice, then it's gone. So I would go with beer number 4. Second would be beer number 5 or 7. Then beer number 5 would be third. Let me know if you've done a side by side like this, or if I should do a different side by side. We do have a whole bunch of split batches coming up, 2 of them right now, so 10 beers total. That should be fun. Playing with different dry hops, and then a batch playing with different yeasts in all 5 of them. So hopefully you enjoyed this. It is a longer one, but that's what happens when you have 7 beers. If I could stop burping. If you enjoyed this video, check some more out over here. And until next time, happy brewing.